Well, I'm continuing our paving pattern working out from the central zone that we've just finished, and now I've just drawn a polyline through here and a few little lines to indicate the sort of random pattern that one might get when one is paving. I probably should have left a larger space between those lines there, but I'm sure you get my drift. So it's draw and hatch. I've changed my drawing colour, by the way. Just pick points, click in there, right click and OK. That hatch goes in. Let's try the next one. Repeat our hatch, pick our points, we can pick in there, that will hatch that, but that's not what we want. We want the whole of that entity, so we'll cancel from there, repeat our hatch, but choose pick entity, and that was a polyline, so that hatches. Now let's try our final one. It may fail. Repeat hatch, pick points, and bingo, and it works. So we're done. Now what we want to do is to mirror that shape over there, and then we'll make a block of all that and copy and rotate that through 45 degrees. So we're interested in gathering together all of those entities there and modify and mirror. There we are, mirror. Now we're being asked for the first point of the mirror line. So if we can find a point along that line, which we can, and we need some other line here, and that's picked it up nicely. Now I'll undo that because I forgot to hold the shift key down while I was doing that. So edit and undo puts it back again. Let's try again. We wrap a box around the objects that we want to mirror. We right click, mirror, hold our shift key down while we do this, pick that point there and a point over there and click, and now they are both mirrored. Well, having made a block of these two parts, then I simply inserted that block. It's a relatively easy thing to do. It's just draw and insert block. I called it X3. I'll say OK, and you can see here I'm bringing the block in. I brought the yellow circle with me at the same time and then just rotated it. So bringing the neck, you can see that once you've created one geometry, it's getting increasingly easy to create more. Let's zoom extents. Here's our 4 metre by 3 metre paving area with our rather intricate design showing in the centre. You might argue, and I think I'd agree with you, that I should have left larger grouting spaces between these tiles, but one learns by experience. We're now going to put a line of paving running through there, another one through there, and a sort of an arc going through there to finish off our paving, and then we'll put some a fill over the whole space, rather like a terrazzo type feel to it. I'm continuing on the pattern and just drawing a rough arc through there and then trying to represent how my paving tiles might look, on my tiles rather than paving tiles, because they're all going to be set into a bed here. I find the easiest way to tile some of this area is to simply draw a polyline. So I'll zoom in now, draw a polyline, say from there to there, down to there, to there, and close that, representing the shape that I want. Then just draw and hatch and pick entities and pick that polyline and OK that. It's a lot easier to draw polylines and hatch them than it is to get your CAD program to pick a space. Having done that, once you've got that in position, it's just a matter of picking that and then mirroring that. There can be the mirror line, holding my shift key down, remembering to do that, setting up a mirror line, and we've mirrored that last tile. My next step is to put another strand running through there and another one through there to complete the actual individual tiles, and then we'll have a terrazzo type backing to the whole thing, and we'll just use a pattern, a concrete pattern, to pick that up. But my design for my paved area that might go into a garden design is certainly taking shape. Zoomed right out here, and remember we're looking at something that's 4 metres by 3 metres. It starts to, the divisions don't look quite so good, but once we zoom in you can see that there's some interesting pattern taking shape. Well, I've changed the colour of two of the tiles that are in this little strip running through here. I inadvertently picked the line there when I was doing the mirroring, but we can now eliminate both of those, which will fix that particular problem up. A good tip is don't try doing too much editing as you go along. You often need those construction lines later on. However, I digress. We want this diagonal line here to lie underneath the curve of this one. So to do that we go layers and layer dialog. No, we don't. Let's cancel. It's layer order. We pick layer order. Now we put this line through here on a layer called diagonal 1. Now diagonal 1 sits above most of the entities which were on layer 0. So we need to drag diagonal 1 and pop it underneath. Now can you see, we'll close that, can you see now that our paving bricks through here go at that different angle? Not different angle, different level, I'm sorry. Well, I've copied that strand, I've moved it onto a layer diagonal 2, so that now diagonal 1 goes underneath the first curve through here, and diagonal 2 goes on top of the curve as we work through there. So I can change those all those colours back to match, and I'll make the colours in the centre match the yellow. Sorry, take the yellow, bright yellow there, and have the buff colour in here. You'll of course choose your colours. You might like my grey colour here. Wherever you've got a little bit of missing information, it's very easy to simply draw another little polyline and hatch it. But we want now to put the background in, and you can see I've got a tile hanging off here. So since that's a block, we need to explode it. So it's X to explode, and then we can erase that one. So things are taking shape reasonably well now. We've got another problem here. We can erase that one. But the generation of these has worked very quickly indeed, and drawing 1 or 2 or 3 shapes and then copying them across along a line is certainly an easier way to do it than I was working through here, where I was hatching every individual tile. And for the purposes of conveying the design that I want, that's certainly a tedious way. The quick copy is easy. So we need a background layer. So let's layer dialog and new and details, and where are we? Layer 1, details. We'll call this background. And OK that. So now we can draw a rectangle over the whole lot, although we've already got that because we started, didn't we, with a rectangle, so we should be able to hatch that entity. So it's draw, hatch. This time instead of the solid hatch we need to pick up some sort of pattern for representing terrazzo. So I'm just going down through, there's one there which is random dot and stone pattern, which might do, but I'm looking for maybe a concrete type pattern. You can change and add to these patterns. I'm going a long way through here before I reach the end. There are a lot, but I think we better go back to that first one, which was somewhere in this area through here. I'll just go down through there. It was that random stone pattern. I've missed it, haven't I? Click here, come up. There. No, it wasn't there. Sorry, we did have it, so it's a little tedious. If I'd stopped where I was there, we would have been better off. Now, for a scale, I always put a fairly high scale up first. We'll try 1,000. If you pick a scale pattern that's too low, your CAD program will go off and spend ages trying to put an incredibly dense patterning in there. This time it's pick entities, so away we go. We find the rectangle and we go OK. there's our pattern going in, and you can see our scale pattern is completely wrong. So we click on the hatching, go to properties, and it's a very easy matter. Now we probably want something like 10 here, so we'll go 10 and OK that. So there's our pattern. We've got the whole pattern now for the design. We need to make sure that our layer order is correct, so we go to layer order. We want background to be right at the bottom, so we just drag that down and close, and there's our design. I'd probably be inclined to change the colour of that to a darker colour. We'll go to colour 47 and see what that looks like. I'm quite pleased with that. It's a design for a paved area which might be a feature in some sort of garden. So I'm sure you'll do a better job than me when you create it. After all, you are the artists, not me.